All right, strap yourselves in, folks. We're talking twin-engine fighter jets today.
Music to my ears.
Diving deep into this list of top contenders you sent over. But we're going beyond just, rankings and stats.
Right.
We want to know what makes these metal birds so formidable. What makes them stand out?
And I think what's really interesting about this list, it's not just a who's who of, every fighter jet out there. It's like a timeline of military tech and how it's evolved.
Totally. You've got these, absolute legends of the sky, like the F-14 Tomcat.
The Tomcat.
Right. A little Top Gun action for you. But then on the same list, you've got these stealth fighters, the F-22 Raptor, China's J-20. It's a real mix.
Absolutely. Real contrast of brute force and then this almost like invisible, chess game in the air.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of different approaches, we got to talk about the elephant, or should I say, the twin engine in the room.
Yeah.
So many of these top jets rock not one, but two engines. What's the deal with that?
Well, I mean, think about it. In a tense situation, you're in a fight, having that second engine, that could be the difference between, getting back in one piece or not.
Right. The backup is key.
Absolutely. But it's more than just a backup, right? It's about raw power. Two engines, you're talking about incredible thrust, acceleration that'll pin you to your seat, and the ability to climb at insane angles.
Right.
Plus, you can carry a heavier load.
So when we talk about those iconic F-14 maneuvers, those high G turns, that wouldn't be possible without the twin engine setup.
Exactly. Those maneuvers, those high angles of attack, they take immense power. The F-14 breaking the sound barrier while pulling those off, that's the magic of those two engines.
Wow, yeah. Makes you appreciate the physics of it all.
Absolutely.
Now, I noticed you also mentioned fifth generation fighters on this list. What does that even mean? What makes them so special?
Okay, so imagine like the evolution of computers, right? You had these massive machines that took up entire rooms, and then you had desktops, and now we've got these smartphones in our pockets, right? Each generation is this huge leap in technology.
Okay, I'm fine.
So fifth-gen fighters, they're the smartphones. You're talking about stealth tech being integrated, super advanced avionics, and this thing we call super cruise.
All right, I gotta ask, what's super cruise? Sounds intense.
Oh, it is. It's the ability to hit and sustain supersonic speeds without using afterburners.
Wait, so afterburners aren't the key to going super fast all the time?
They provide a boost, sure, but they eat up fuel like crazy. Super Cruise lets these jets stay fast for longer, huge tactical advantage.
So we're talking jets like the F-22, the Russian Su-57, China's J-20. These are the smartphones of the fighter jet world.
Exactly. They're playing a different game than, say, the F-14 or the European Tornado. Not that those older jets aren't impressive, but the fifth-gen tech, it's a whole other ball game.
So we've got different generations, Western designs, Eastern designs, and this common thread of twin engine power. Sounds like the world of fighter jets is a lot more diverse than people realize.
Oh, 100%. And when you really dig into it, this list, it's not just about variety for the sake of variety, right? Each jet represents a different approach, a different philosophy to winning in the air.
I like that. So tell me, we've got jets with swing wings on this list, like the F-14.
Oh, yeah, classic.
You can actually see them adjusting mid-flight in Top Gun. It's so cool. Strategically, what's the advantage of that design?
Oh, it's brilliant engineering when you think about it. Swing wings, or variable sweep wings, they let the aircraft basically change its wing shape on the fly.
Okay, I'm picturing it. So how does that work in the air?
So at lower speeds, like taking off or landing, the wings extend out, right, giving it that max lift. But when it's time to punch it, those wings sweep back, reduces drag, and boom, you're talking supersonic speed.
So it's like having two wings in one. Talk about adaptable. Now, we've also got some delta-winged jets on this list. The Rafale, the Typhoon. How does that design compare? They've got that, triangle shape.
Right, the delta wing.
Yeah.
Inherently strong, super stable, which is critical when you're talking about pulling serious Gs and high-speed maneuvers.
Makes sense.
Plus, they've got this great balance of lift and drag. It makes them really versatile in different combat scenarios.
So different designs, different strengths. That's why we see such a mix, even on a list of top contenders.
Yeah.
Makes you appreciate the art of engineering.
Oh, absolutely. It's like an art form in itself.
Totally. But with all this talk of speed and maneuverability and design, we haven't even touched on stealth tech yet. And looking at this list, it's a huge part of modern fighter jet design.
Oh, it's huge. Stealth tech, it's completely changed how air combat works. Now, we're not talking about making a jet literally invisible to radar.
Right.
It's more about making it incredibly difficult to detect and track.
Ah, so it's like a game of hide and seek, but with missiles and stuff.
Exactly. And the F-22 Raptor, that was a game changer when it came to stealth. Really raised the bar.
You mentioned the F-22 is a fifth-generation fighter. Does that mean its stealth capabilities are more advanced than, say, older jets?
Absolutely. The F-22, the Su-57, the J-20, these fifth-gen fighters, they've got stealth features built in that older jets just don't have. It's the shape of the aircraft, the materials they're using, even internal weapons bays to reduce that radar signature.
So it's not just one thing, it's like this whole philosophy of design.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach to stealth.
Got it. But I imagine designing a jet to be that stealthy, it's got to come with some challenges, right?
Oh, for sure. Stealth often means design compromises. For example, that unique shape of the F-22 that makes it hard to see on radar, it can affect its aerodynamic performance compared to a more traditional design.
Interesting. So it's a trade-off.
And then there's maintenance.
Oh, right. I bet keeping a stealth fighter in tip-top shape isn't as simple as, kicking the tires and checking the oil.
Not quite. Those radar-absorbent coatings, they're incredibly delicate. Even minor wear and tear can mess them up, which means more time and money on maintenance to keep them combat ready.
Wow. So stealth tech, it's effective, but it comes at a cost. It makes you wonder, with all this tech advancing so rapidly, what does the future hold for these twin-engine powerhouses? Even stealthier designs, hypersonic speeds, what's next?
Well, those are definitely areas of intense research right now. We're already seeing some crazy advancements. Directed energy weapons, hypersonic missiles, AI that could change the game entirely.
It's like we're living in a military sci-fi movie, with all this advanced tech.
It really is.
Yeah.
That line between like science fiction and what's actually happening in the skies, it's getting blurry.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes you think, with all this talk of next gen tech, what about the pilots? Will we even need actual humans in the cockpits in the future?
That's the million-dollar question right now. And there are, strong opinions on both sides of that.
Rightly so.
Yeah, some experts are convinced that unmanned aircraft, drones, basically, they're going to completely take over.
Really?
They say longer flight times, no risk to human life, and these super fast reaction speeds, it's hard to argue with.
So are we saying goodbye to the Top Guns of the future then? No more Maverick and Iceman?
Well, not so fast.
Yeah.
While drones, they've definitely proven their worth, a lot of us, myself included, we still believe that human pilots, they're not going anywhere, at least not anytime soon.
Okay, I can see that. There's something to be said about instinct, right?
Exactly. Especially in those really chaotic, unpredictable combat situations. That human element of adaptability, making a judgment call on the fly, that's tough to program into an algorithm.
So you're saying even with all the AI in the world, it still comes down to the human brain, that strategic thinking.
Exactly. A human pilot, they can react to, like a surprise threat, in a way that AI it just can't, at least not yet. It's about experience, intuition, even anticipating what the enemy's going to do next. AI is not there yet.
Fascinating. So it's more than just building a jet that's faster or stealthier. It's about that connection between the pilot and the machine.
100%. It's about leveraging the strengths of both.
Yeah.
The raw processing power of AI, sure, but combined with the intuition of a human pilot, that's where it gets really interesting.
Man, that's a powerful thought. A true partnership, pushing the limits of what's possible in the air.
Right. It's a new frontier in a way, and this list we've been going through, it's like a snapshot of that evolution happening.
When we started talking about these twin-engine beasts, I knew it'd be a wild ride. But this has been eye-opening. The tech, the strategies, even the philosophical questions about the future of combat, it's pretty mind-blowing.
It really makes you appreciate the complexity of it all, doesn't it?
It does. And on that note, we'll leave you with this. As technology keeps advancing at this crazy pace, will we ever reach a point where human pilots become obsolete? Or will that human element always be the difference maker? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of top-tier fighter jets.